I've been thinking, okay, what's the best way to go about speaking to this person and this person, rather than just going, okay, here we go, let's do it. Regardless of the result, I just need to get out there and send the text message, make the call. Yo, what's going on Team Tweety? I hope you're all super well. Today, it's a bit of a different video. I'm going to jump in the other room in a minute, have a sit down with you guys, talk with you about the future and what's happening. I found out something today which kind of shapes what's going to happen in the future. I'm not 100% sure on it yet. So I've got Dad here. Mate, I've told you what's going on with the situation. Give us a brief overview of your thoughts and, yeah, what it means.
Well, it's about the ancestry visa. And maybe you can't go to the UK with that anymore. I mean, we need to know more about it. But the whole reason why you're in the UK rather than France or Iceland or Ghana or Vietnam was because you could live there for 5 years and play football.
Exactly right.
But here's the good thing. If you don't have to go to the UK, if there's no advantage in going to the UK, you can go anywhere in the world.
I guess I can. It kind of opens up endless opportunities. So that is a benefit that we need to take away from it, because we were kind of set on the UK for that singular reason. Now we don't know what actually is going to happen with the visa. I'll go into more detail in a minute, but it will be interesting to see what happens. But that's a great point that Dad makes. It kind of opens up opportunity to all over the world without favouring one place.
That's right.
Except we always favour Australia.
And you know what we say at Team Tweety, always look for the benefits.
That's it. So I'm going to jump in the other room, have a sit down with you guys. Let's get to it. So basically, I got a message from Pat and he said to me, hey, can you talk urgent? And I go, okay, give me a buzz on here. And this was on Facebook. And I'm like thinking, okay, maybe he's got an agent for me. Maybe he's looking to send me somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he's got a contact. And I speak to him, 7 minutes and 56 seconds the phone call goes for. And during that phone call, he says to me that he can no longer play in the UK. And the reason for this is that he went over to England on an ancestry visa. Now, I get a ton of questions all the time saying, Sheldon, what sort of visa do you have to go to the UK? What sort of visa should I get for the UK? And I kind of sit there and go, I don't know your situation. For me, my mum's dad was born in England, and that allowed me to get an ancestry visa, which pretty much gives me citizenship. Almost. I have a 5-year visa in the UK, which is England, Ireland, I don't even know the rest of them. We've been through this before. I can start a business, I can work, I can do everything. Now, Pat went over on an ancestry visa, the exact same as me, and he's told me that it's not possible for us to play there anymore. Effectively, it does make it extremely hard for me to make it in the UK. So Pat was told this by his agent over there, and Pat was doing extremely well. He said there was a chance he was going to sign for a league club. I'm not sure. I think he might have said League One. He's been playing with semi-pro clubs for their pre-season. He said he's absolutely killing it. Well, he didn't say that because he won't say that, but I know he's absolutely killing it. And I'm sure he was so keen. And then he got the email from his agent saying it was not possible. He sent me over this link. It's a website. There's a photo on the screen just there. I'll move across so you can see it. It says, what was the criteria which will be used? Until 2015, football players needed to have played in at least 75% of their country's senior international matches over the previous 2 years to play in the UK. Eligibility for a GBE now depends on a national team's FIFA rankings as follows. So you still need to play 75%, but if you're 31 to 50, which is Australia, you need 75% or above of the last 2 years' matches played. And if you're under 21, then it's reduced to 1 year. Like, it makes it extremely difficult, and the reason they do this, the aim is to make it easier for young, outstanding talent to grow their game in the UK. Well, I misread that, but it's for the youth in the UK to produce themselves rather than imports coming in and taking their spots. Now look, I don't know if this is 110%. I'm looking through this. I've tried to look elsewhere. Pat told me that this was a new thing that has only come in this year, and I may have to ring the England FA, which is an absolute pain, and speak to them and see what the deal is, because this is so important and it will mould what the future is for me. It'll kind of structure how the next year or 2 years, 3 years will be played out, because if UK is not an option, then I just cross that out. But if it still is, then it's definitely something I can still investigate. So look, I don't know. It's saying here, non-EU football player can apply for a Tier 2 or Tier 5 work permit, the relevant tier depending on his grasp of the English language. Under Tier 2, blah blah blah. He must, however, have 70 immigration points. Alternatively, under Tier 5, a player can only stay for 1 year. There's just a whole lot of stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I need to investigate it more, because maybe it's something that Pat just got wrong or his agent got wrong, so it is a possibility that I can go there in the future. But right now, it kind of throws things out of whack. When I heard that news, it hit me. I'm like, wow. Like, I worked so hard to get the contacts in the UK. I spent 8 months over there. Sure, I didn't progress into a professional team. I wasn't in a semi-pro team for a long amount of time, but I developed these contacts over there that was so valuable that could help me progress in the future. And if that's no longer an option, not that those 8 months will have been wasted, but it's frustrating. As we all know, contacts in the modern game, connections, it's massive. If you don't have any connections, you're not going to get anywhere unless you are Messi or unless you're a gold brick, which I always say. You need to be a gold brick in the league you play in the team you play in. You got to be the player that every scout goes and sees you and goes, why is no one picking this guy? So yeah, I need to continue to do my research. I will speak with other agents. I'll speak with more people. I'll look online and try to find out if there's any information on the ancestry visa. But this is for you guys. I want to raise awareness. If you have some sort of visa, and you may not even know you can get a visa. I didn't know until 3 months before I left to the UK that I could get my ancestry visa, and if I didn't know that, I would have been in a massive hole when I got there. So investigate your family tree, investigate the language courses that you can do. I know there are ways to get around these visa situations. You can do little different tricks and things, and you got to speak to people, because I don't know all of them. I know a couple of people were doing things in Spain which, you know, it's just what you got to do. If you want to play football over there, you just got to wiggle your way through the system. So for me, I don't know. Don't ask me anything about visas. I'm frustrated with mine. I can't even sort it out. The best thing to do, look at your family tree, do some research, find out yourself what is actually best. So with that said, we will see what happens with England and the UK in the future. I don't know right now. If I have any more updates, I will let you guys know. But first off, that's extremely disappointing news for Pat. He was pretty much on the brink of signing a professional contract with a league team in England. I don't know the team. I think he told me, but I completely forget. And then secondly, what a stroke of luck. If I went back to England and had the same problem, what would I have done? I would have had to come back to Australia and be where I am right now. In fact, I wouldn't even be able to play for anybody. So imagine I did end up going to England. I go there, I do really well, and a semi-pro team or a pro team wants to sign me. What happens then? I say, I'm on an ancestry visa. Here you go. Sorry, we can't sign you. Now, here's where it gets a little bit difficult. Is it just pro teams that I can't sign for? Is it still worth it for me to go over to England and try and sign for, say, a 5th division team where some teams are still semi-pro? Or do I investigate another country? I don't know the answer to that, because I'm not sure whether it's completely narrowed down to, with an ancestry visa, you can't sign a pro contract, or it's you can't sign anywhere in the UK regardless of the level on an ancestry visa. So there's a lot of things I need to investigate. It's going to be stressful times, but you know, what can I do? I just got to deal with what life throws at me. So with that said, I'm sure you guys are also wondering what's happening with the A-League opportunity. I don't know yet. I need to speak to contacts. I haven't done that, Sheldon. I'm frustrated with myself. I've been strategizing too much and not enough action and doing. I've been thinking, okay, what's the best way to go about speaking to this person and this person, rather than just going, okay, here we go, let's do it. Regardless of the result, I just need to get out there and send the text message, make the call, whatever it is that I need to do. I just need to get out there and do it, because, man, time's slipping away. I'm feeling confident that something will happen. If you guys don't know, in Australia, it goes the professional league, the A-League, and below that is a youth league. So every A-League team has to have an under-21s team. And I'm young enough to play in that youth league. This will be my final year. So if I can find somewhere to get into a youth league team, where I have been when I was 17 and 18, once with Sydney FC, once with the Western Sydney Wanderers as train-on players, meaning if someone got injured in the first squad, then I would be there to back up and play. So I trained with them 2 years straight. Look, it definitely is a possibility for me to go into one of these youth league teams, and if I have a good youth league season, even though it's very short, I think it goes 10 weeks or so, maybe a little bit more, then I can kick on into the first team of an A-League team and see what happens there. So this is really the year where I can break into the youth league, then into the A-League. That's the goal. It's just I need to find a youth league team, and I think trials are literally around right now. So I just need to speak to more and more people. The more people I speak to, the more opportunities that may come up. And like I say, it's less strategizing, more just taking action on these contacts, making the text, making the phone call, and seeing what comes of it. So we'll see what happens. Really disappointing news. It was pretty sudden news, but look, I don't know what will happen with it. I need to do my research, like I keep saying. And yeah, it's just another step in the journey. So anyway, thanks for the video. I'm signing out. Make sure you leave a like. Join Journey. I'll see you around.